Good evening, Addison, and welcome to the combined meeting of the committees for Monday, October 21st. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Trustees Del Rosario, Nasty.
Here.
Reyes.
Here.
Co-chairs Hunley.
Here.
Kluzny.
Here.
O'Brien.
Here.
Item number 2 is consideration to approve the minutes of the October 7th, 2024 combined meeting of the committees.
So move.
Any additions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Minutes are approved. Item number 3 is audience input regarding agenda items before the committee. We have none. Item number 4 is discussion of accounts payable. Earlier this evening, we reviewed the following directives. Directive number 25-35 in the amount of $713,950.33. Directive number 25-36 in the amount of $388,116.93, and Directive number 25-37 in the amount of $1,262,701.86. The gross payroll for October was $2,796,700.69.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5 is discussion and consideration of the fiscal year 2024 annual comprehensive financial report.
Make the motion.
Thank you. Kelly?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'd like to start with a thank you to the Assistant Finance Director, Carolyn Isles, for her assistance on this audit. Carolyn was instrumental in the entire audit process. So the village did have a very good year, starting with the net position, as this is a useful indicator of the government's financial position. The village did have an increase in the net position of 12.6%. This increase is made up of a 12.6% increase in governmental activities, as well as a 12.6% increase in business type activities. Unusual, but yes, it was 12.6 on both. So the net position does take into consideration the net investment we have in capital assets. Our net capital assets do account for 90% of our net position. Next, I'm going to talk about the general fund. It's the village's primary operating fund, and it's the largest source of day-to-day service delivery. The general fund had an unrestricted fund balance of $29.3 million, which is 62% of the current year expenditures. This does exceed the village's targeted number. However, the fiscal 25 budget year that we're living in now are projected to decrease the general fund balance down to approximately 56% of general fund expenditures. The increase in the general fund balance was primarily due to higher than budgeted revenues and lower than budgeted expenses. The majority of the higher than expected revenues came from increased investment income, as interest rates were considerably higher than expected, as well as fines and forfeitures were higher, specifically in police and parking fines. The lower than budgeted expenses were primarily due to about $1 million in projects that were not completed, and therefore we needed to push to fiscal year 25. The remaining decrease was primarily in personnel services within the police department. Next, I'm going to talk about the water sewer fund. They did have an increase, as I mentioned, a net position of about 12.6%. This increase was primarily due to a decrease in the unearned revenue liability, with a corresponding increase in revenue from the American Rescue Plan Act. If you remember, that was a grant that we received of about $4.2 million was recorded in fiscal 24. In addition, the net investment in capital assets increased by about $2.2 million. So this translates to a 39% unrestricted funds to expenditures, leaving both the general fund and the water sewer fund above the village target rate of 25%. In addition, the police pension fund had a $5.2 million increase in its net position. This was primarily due to an increase in the market value of its investments. The percent funded based on actuary value of assets did decrease very slightly from 59.92% to 59.28%. So the audit will be posted on the village's website by the end of the week. The management discussion and analysis section, as well as the letter of transmittal, are both included in the audit document, and our great resources to give the overall summary of the fiscal '24 year, as well as some insight on the planned fiscal '25 year. And that is it.
Thank you very much. I know you and your team work very hard on that. I don't have any questions. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is consideration of a resolution approving an employment agreement between the Village of Addison and Joseph A. Moranowitz.
Make the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Mayor Veenstra.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 4 years since we offered Mr. Moranowitz the first employment agreement. Time flies when you're having fun. And we've been very impressed with Joe's performance over the last 4 years. And this is a new agreement to extend the period of employment with the village.
Thank you. I have no questions on this item. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item number 7, consideration to approve the final payout to Tracy and Ed Construction of Bartlett, Illinois, in the amount of $154,125 for the Public Works trench drain and sand and sediment separator replacement. Bid number 24-6-1, funding in account number 440.9944-4404.
Make the motion?
Thank you. Jim?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attached, you'll find the final pay request submitted by Tracy and Ed Construction of Bartlett, Illinois for the trench drain and sediment separator replacement of Public Works. All work has been completed. It's been inspected by staff with positive feedback. Therefore, we'll request your favorable consideration to issue final payment to Tracy and Ed Construction for $154,125.
Thank you. I have no questions. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 8 is consideration to approve the final payout to Keeley Construction, Inc. of Villa Park, Illinois, in the amount of $71,331.98 for the Police Records Department renovation project, funding in account number 440.9944-4405.
Make the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Jim?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attached, you'll find Keeley's final pay request for the records remodel project in the police department in the amount of $71,331.98. Attached is the invoice, their application for payment, and the waivers of lien for the job that was completed. All work has been completed, reviewed by staff, found to be in order. Therefore, we request your favorable consideration to issue the final payment to Keeley in the amount of $71,331.98.
Thank you. I have no questions on this item. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, consideration of an ordinance authorizing the disposal of surplus equipment owned by the Village of Addison.
Make the motion?
Thank you. Jim?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attached, you'll find the ordinance identifying computer equipment that's no longer useful to the village. The ordinance contains the individual information for the equipment to be disposed of. The attorneys reviewed the ordinance, and we're requesting approval of the ordinance at this time.
Thank you. I have no questions on this item. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Item number 10 is consideration to purchase bulk road salt through the DuPage County Joint Purchasing Requisition from Morton Salt, Inc. of Chicago, Illinois, in the not-to-exceed amount of $185,000, funding in account number 100.2520-4206.
Make the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Brian?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Over the past several years, we've worked with DuPage County and other municipalities on a joint bid for the purchase of bulk road salt. This spring, when the bid was open, Morton Salt was awarded that bid at a low cost of $73.90 per ton. Each year, we anticipate using about 2,200 tons of road salt, and that's what they base our allocation off of. And we have to purchase a minimum of 80% of that, which is 1,760 tons. And we could purchase a maximum of 2,860 tons at this current price. If we go above the 130%, that price goes up to $93.90. Each year, we've been staying underneath that, which is what we're anticipating for this year, too. At this time, we're requesting your approval to enter this agreement with DuPage County and to purchase the bulk road salt in the not-to-exceed amount of $185,000. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no questions on this item. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, consideration to award bid number 24-8-2 to Winkler Services LLC of LaGrange Park, Illinois, for cyclical tree pruning in the not-to-exceed amount of $149,885. Funding in account number 100.2510-4180.
I make the motion.
Second.
Brian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On September 30th, we opened up the bids for the cyclical tree pruning. We received a total of 3 bids, and Winkler provided us the most favorable pricing. This is a turnkey project where they're going to include all the labor, cutting, debris removal for the area that's been marked out for this service. The contract will be for 1 year, and we have the option of extending it by an agreed-upon price for an additional 2 one-year periods. And we've worked with Winkler in the past and found all their work to be very acceptable. And at this time, we're requesting your concurrence to approve the contract in the not-to-exceed amount of $149,885. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no questions on this item. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12 is consideration of a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Addison and the Illinois Department of Transportation regarding improvements along the intersections of Illinois Route 64 at Westwood Avenue, Lincoln Avenue, and Illinois Route 64 at Westmore Avenue.
Make the motion.
Second.
Thank you. Brian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Illinois Department of Transportation is going to be performing a large-scale project along Illinois Route 64. That's going to include traffic signal modernization, signal timing, changeable message signs, traffic surveillance, and ADA improvements. The village is responsible for a portion of the work along Illinois 64 and Westwood Avenue, as well as Illinois 64 and Westmore Avenue. The total cost of the village is going to be $30,289, and we'll be responsible for paying 80% of this upon contract award, and then 20% upon contract or project completion. IDOT's going to oversee the entire project as well as awarding the contract and all the bid specs. So we had this resolution from IDOT. Our village attorneys approved it and overseen it, and at this time, we're requesting your concurrence to enter the agreement with IDOT. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no questions on this item. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13 is consideration of a resolution accepting a proposal from Dam Mechanical Industries, Inc. of Arlington Heights, Illinois, for the grit collector rebuild at the North Wastewater Treatment Plant in the not-to-exceed amount of $18,023. Funding in account number 500.5032-4299.
I make the motion.
Second.
Thank you. Brian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As part of the budget process, approval was given to rebuild the grit collector system at the North Treatment Plant. Dami Mechanical has actually worked on this equipment for us multiple times in the past and understands all the inner workings of this equipment. They're going to remove and install all the grit collector gears, sprockets, shaft, and any other additional equipment required for this rebuild. We've been very satisfied with the work that they provided us in the past, and at this time, we're requesting acceptance of the proposal in the amount of $18,023. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no questions on this item. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Item number 14 is consideration of resolutions approving the employee medical insurance plan renewal with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, the employee dental insurance plan renewal with Delta Dental, the employee enhanced vision plan renewal with VSP, and the employee life AD&D insurance plan with Mutual of Omaha.
Make the motion?
Thank you. Doc.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attached are the resolutions approving contracts for the various providers of the Employee Health Insurance Program. This year, we're looking at an overall increase for all plans of 5%. While it is higher than previous years, it is still well below the market average for plans of our size. The culprit really this year was, this past year, was our HMO plan was running really hot, so it continues to be a problem. Its experience, to a lesser extent, is medical inflation, which has finally, in the last couple of years, been hitting the medical world. So I hate to blame everything on inflation, but it is part of that equation. Staff, we are recommending some plan changes which we feel will help mitigate costs both currently and going off in the future, which we shared with the board at previous dates. So with that said, we are recommending approval of the resolutions at this time.
Thank you. I have no questions on this as we have discussed it. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Item number 15 is consideration of a resolution approving 3 estimates from ABEEP LLC for the purchase of 2 Tate TB 9400 800 megahertz transmitters, 1 TB 9400 VHF transmitter, 8 IP receivers, and required accessories and support, and the total not to exceed amount of $99,209.08, and a request to waive the formal bid process. Funding in account number 410.9941-4304.
Make the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Mike.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. These pieces of equipment will be used to expand and reinforce our current backup systems for the police department and fire departments that are at the Addison Consolidated Dispatch Center. We are asking for the waive the bid process, as ABEEP has and does have the current support and maintenance contract for all these equipment.
Sounds good. I have no questions on this item. We have used ABEEP before. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Item number 16 is consideration of the final payout request and release of retainage to Aqua Contractors in the amount of $171,916.70 for construction work completed for the 2023 water main replacement and resurfacing project. Funding in account number 500.5010-4503 and 250.9925-4401.
Make the motion?
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Attached in your packet is the final payout request and release of retainage to Aqua Contractors for the Michael Lane water main replacement and street resurfacing project. This project was funded in part with a Community Development Block Grant Award, MFT dollars, and water fund monies. The project was originally budgeted at $1.858 million, and after completion of the project with extras and testing, it came under budget just under $63,000, just under $63,000 under budget. Staff has performed final inspections. We've reviewed the final invoice, including the certified payroll and waivers of lien, and therefore recommend your favorable approval of final payout number 4 in the amount of $171,916.70 to Aqua Contractors.
Thank you. I have no questions on this item. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
We'll move on to the Building Zoning Development Committee items. Item number 17 is consideration of an ordinance approving a plat of re-subdivision for 330 South Fairbank Street. Is there a motion?
Make the motion?
Motion second on discussion. Mike?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Huntley. Haschem Environmental Corporation, located at 330 South Fairbank Street, is looking to make extensive pavement and drainage modification to help improve the appearance and the condition of their property. As part of the improvements, they'll need to consolidate 2 parcels for which the site is located into a single lot of record in compliance with the village code. This is really a large project. This is a property that was acquired not too long ago by Haschem, and they're investing a lot of dollars in this property to clean it up. It's been run down over the years. Through our industrial property maintenance inspection program, we kind of saw this, and they are proposing to make some really good improvements to help that drainage, as well as just the site flow and the parking on the site. This request was brought to the October 9th, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission, and after some discussion, a unanimous decision was recommended. This ordinance and plat of resub were also reviewed by staff as well as our village attorney and were found to be acceptable. So tonight we're asking for your favorable consideration in approving the ordinance and granting the plat of resubdivision.
Thank you, Mike. I have no questions. Questions from the committee? Hearing none, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Item number 18 is consideration of an ordinance amending certain provisions of the Village of Addison zoning ordinance with respect to dollar stores, thrift stores, and tobacco stores. Is there a motion?
Make the motion?
Second.
Motion is second. On discussion? Mike?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. On October 9th, the Planning and Zoning Commission conducted a public hearing in order to consider text amendments to the zoning code with regard to dollar stores, thrift stores, and tobacco shops. After some research, staff has found that dollar stores have been linked to higher incidents of violent crime. Grocery stores have reported a drop in sales of 15 to 30% after the opening of a nearby dollar store. Independent grocers employ approximately 20% more people than dollar stores do relative to sales volume, and approximately 92% of dollar store workers earn less than $15 per hour. And in 2019, the annual median salary for a dollar store worker was under $14,600. Like dollar stores, tobacco shops have also been linked to violent crimes, and our PD has indicated that many of the tobacco establishments have been selling tobacco and other smoking and vaping products to minors. I think about less than 6 months ago, we brought a proposed moratorium to the board for consideration. We did have the moratorium, which is where staff has done some extensive research to see where these establishments kind of fit within the community. So as a result, staff has recommended the following text amendments. Define what a dollar store is, which we did. Allow them in the B1, B2, B3, B4, and B5 districts only when they're at least 2 miles from one another. Existing dollar stores will be grandfathered into the village. This really limits the number of dollar stores that you can have. I think right now we have 3. Moving forward, this would eliminate them. I don't think there could be any other dollar stores that would be located in town other than the ones that we have in that proximity. We did define thrift stores. We really didn't have a place for thrift stores. It wasn't defined in our zoning ordinance. If somebody came in and wanted to put a thrift store into the village, we really didn't have a place for them, so we defined them and we put them, recommended putting them in the M4 Research Industrial District. And any existing thrift stores that we would have would be grandfathered in until they're done. As far as tobacco shops go, right now they're we want to remove them from the B2 and the B5 districts. Currently, tobacco shops are not permitted in the B1, B3, and B4 districts. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. These text amendments and the ordinance were reviewed by staff as well as our village attorney, and they were found to be acceptable. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those.
No, Mike, I don't have any questions. I think it's pretty straightforward, and good job on the work you did on this. Questions from the committee? Hearing none, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Item 19 is audience participation regarding village business. Item 20 is executive session if needed. Item 21 is other business at discretion of the chairman. Colleen, did you want to have the auditor say something?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
So we have Bradley Johnson here he's one of the auditors from our auditing firm, Sickich, and he's going to present the fiscal 24 audit.
On behalf of Sickich, I would like to say thank you to the mayor and the board for allowing us the opportunity to present the information resulting from the audit as of April 30th, 2024. Nick Bava, the principal on the engagement, was unable to attend due to the birth of his third child, so I am filling in for him. I'm a manager with Sickich. I've been auditing local governments my entire career at Sickich. I was the engagement manager on the audit this year, so I've been involved in all facets of the engagement, starting all the way back in March through when we finalized our reports here in September. Overall, we have issued a handful of deliverables for the audit that we have for your review and approval tonight. We have the annual comprehensive financial report, the auditor's communication to the Board of Trustees and management. We have the management letter as required under Illinois compiled statutes. We have the single audit of federal expenditures. We have the TIF examination report for the Town Center TIF number three fund. We have the report on the allocation of pension amounts for IMRF between the village and the library. We have the Grant Accountability and Transparency Act cipher. And then finally, the annual financial report filed with the state comptroller. This evening, I will briefly touch on some items that are included in the annual comprehensive financial report and would be happy to address any questions you have over the other reports. So moving first here to page 12 in the report, we have the GFOA Certificate of Achievement. I would like to commend the village for voluntarily preparing an annual comprehensive financial report. This report goes well above and beyond the minimum reporting requirements that are required by Illinois compiled statutes and also generally accepted accounting principles. This report is more so for full disclosure. It offers more transparency and accountability to the village's residents, the taxpayers, and anyone else that is interested in the village's financial position. This marks the 39th year of the village receiving the Certificate of Excellence, so we want to congratulate the village on this accommodation. Going forward, we have on pages 21 through 24 the independent auditor's report. The village is responsible for the fair presentation of their financial statements in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Our responsibility as the village's auditors is to issue an opinion on the financial statements based on our audit procedures in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards set by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. With that, and based off the results of the audit, we have issued a clean, unmodified opinion over the village's financial statements that they present fairly in all material respects, the respective financial position of the governmental activities, the business type activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the village as of April 30th, 2024. This opinion is the highest level of assurance that we can provide, and we congratulate the village for receiving an unmodified opinion. On the following two pages, 25 and 26, we have the government auditing standards opinion. This additional opinion reflects the compliance elements of the village's audit as of April 30th, 2024. During the fiscal year, the village expended more than $750,000 of federal funds and therefore was required to undergo a single audit of federal expenditures. Overall, the village expended a total of $4.7 million in federal grant dollars this year. And $4.2 million of that was related to the American Rescue Plan Act grant, and that was a continued spend down this year over water and sewer infrastructure projects throughout the year. So as part of this opinion and our additional testing required by government auditing standards, we did not identify any instances of noncompliance or any material weaknesses that required disclosure. Additionally, the separate single audit report documents the results of our testing over the village's major program this year, which is over the American Rescue Plan Act grant. And this report indicates an unmodified opinion over that major program. as well as no instances of noncompliance or question costs associated with our testing. So overall, clean, unmodified opinions over the village's compliance this year. In conclusion, the audit process went very smoothly. The reports were issued on time, and the individuals we interacted with acted in a very professional manner and were very easy to work with. I'd like to especially thank Colleen and Carolyn for their help in the audit process and having things go as smooth as possible. Again, thank you for your time and letting me present today, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Questions from the committee? I would defer to the Chairman of Finance and Policy.
I don't have any questions. It sounds great. We have a clean opinion, and I would just echo your sentiment. Colleen and Carolyn did a great job. It's wonderful to see that for the 39th year we have the Certificate of Excellence. So thank you very much
All right.
for being
Thank
with
you.
us. Thank you.
And this is no other business. I'm entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We are adjourned.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the regular village board meeting for Monday, October 21st to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Del Rosario is not here this evening. Trustees Hundley.
Here.
Klusny.
Here.
Nasty.
Here.
O'Brien.
Here.
Reyes.
Here.
And Mayor Veenstra.
Here. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, Please remain standing. Tonight's invocation will be given by Pastor Bob Tetrick of Messiah Baptist Church.
I don't know about you guys, I've been enjoying this nice weather. It's hard to believe it's the fall when it's so nice. I was thinking about that, and I wanted to see what the Bible said about seasons changing. And over here in Genesis chapter 8, verse 22, it says, "While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease." And it shows us that God has ordered the seasons and everything. And I thought of the village, and everything is done so orderly here, and you do such a good job. And we get that from our Creator. So shall we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, I do come before you tonight, and I thank you for allowing us to be here, a village that still allows a time of prayer, to recognize who you are and your authority over us, our city. I thank you that things are done so well, and I'm not saying they're perfect, but Father, they are done very well, and I thank you for the men and women that are on the board, that sit here, that try so hard every day to make our lives better in this town. I pray that you would bless them, that you would bless their families, and you would protect them. And I ask also that you would be with the police officers and firefighters, the first responders, as they are out there protecting us as we sleep. We thank you for this in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 4 is the approval of the minutes of the October 7th Village Board meeting. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The minutes stand approved. Item 5, proclamations, appointments, and presentations. We do have a proclamation this evening declaring October 20th to 26th, 2024, Principal Appreciation Week.
This is a proclamation declaring October 20th through 26th, 2024 as Principal Appreciation Week. Whereas school principals play an integral role in the education and growth of children in elementary, middle, and secondary schools across the state of Illinois, and whereas school principals are responsible for promoting education and building relationships with parents and teachers to ensure that each child receives services that meet their needs to excel in the classroom. And whereas principals set the academic tone for their schools and work collaboratively with teachers to develop and maintain high curriculum standards, develop mission statements, and set performance goals and objectives for schools to achieve educational excellence. And whereas school principals are faced with extraordinary decisions and they show relentless determination to move education forward while serving their communities in a meaningful way. And whereas the Village of Addison recognizes our outstanding principals who have succeeded in providing high-quality learning opportunities for students, as well as their exemplary contributions to the profession. Now, therefore, Rich Veenstra, Mayor, does hereby proclaim October 20th through 26th, 2024 to be Principal Appreciation Week and October 25th, 2024 to be Principal's Day in the Village of Addison in honor of the service of all elementary, junior high, and high school principals, including Addison Trail Principal Jack Andrews. He encourages all citizens to recognize the importance of their school leadership so that every child has access to a high-quality education.
Thank you. Item number 6 is audience input regarding agenda items before the board. We do not have any. Item 7 is the consent agenda. 7A is approval of accounts payable.
Earlier this evening, the committee recommended approval of the following directives. Directive number 25-35 in the amount of $713,950.33. Directive 25-36 in the amount of $388,116.93. Directive number 25-37 in the amount of $1,262,701.86. The gross payroll for October was $2,796,700.69.
Thank you. 7B is approval of the fiscal year 2024 annual comprehensive financial report. 7C is approval of the final payout to Tracy and Ed Construction of Bartlett, Illinois, in the amount of $154,125 for the Public Works trench drain and sand and sediment separator replacement. This is bid number 24-6-1. 7D is approval of the final payout to Keeley Construction Incorporated of Villa Park in the amount of $71,331.98 for the Police Records Department renovation project. 7E is approval to purchase bulk road salt through the DuPage County Joint Purchasing Requisition from Morton Salt Incorporated of Chicago in the not to exceed amount of $185,000. 7F is approval to award bid 24-8-2 to Winkler Services LLC of LaGrange Park for the cyclical tree pruning in the not to exceed amount of $149,885. And 7G is the approval of final payout request and release of retainage to Aqua Contractors in the amount of $171,916.70 for the construction work completed for the 2023 water main replacement and resurfacing project. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustees Kluzny,
Yes.
Hundley,
Yes.
Nasty,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
and Reyes.
Yes.
Consent agenda is approved. Item 8, ordinances and resolutions. 8A is the second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the Village Code to increase the number of Class E liquor licenses for Slotties located at 607 South Addison Road.
At our meeting on October 7th, the committee reviewed this ordinance, which amends Chapter 3 of the Village Code to increase the number of Class E liquor licenses for Slotties located at 607 South Addison Road. The committee recommended approval, and first reading was given at the October 7th Village Board meeting. Second reading is requested.
This is second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the Village Code to increase number of Class E liquor licenses for Slotties located at 607 South Addison Road.
Motion to adopt the ordinance?
Second.
Motion and second to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Hundley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Reyes.
The ordinance is approved. 8B is second reading of an ordinance amending certain provisions of Chapter 30 of the Village Code regarding administrative adjudication.
At their meeting October 7th, the committee reviewed this ordinance, which amends certain provisions of Chapter 30 of the Village Code regarding administrative adjudication. The committee recommended approval, and first reading was given at the October 7th Village Board meeting. Second reading is requested.
This is second reading of an ordinance amending certain provisions of Chapter 30 of the Village Code regarding administrative adjudication.
Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Motion and second to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Hundley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Reyes.
Ordinance is approved. 8C is second reading of an ordinance approving variations in a plat of re-subdivision for Rasney Jewelers located at 1501 West Lake Street.
At their meeting on October 7th, the committee reviewed this ordinance, which approves variations in a plat of re-subdivision for Rasney Jewelers located at 1501 West Lake Street. The committee recommended approval, and first reading was given at the October 7th Village Board meeting. Second reading is requested.
This is second reading of an ordinance approving variations in a plot of re-subdivision for Rasney Jewelers located at 1501 West Lake Street.
Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Motion and second to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Hundley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Reyes.
The ordinance is approved. 8D is the second reading of an ordinance approving a plat of re-subdivision for Addison Horizons at the northwest corner of Denise Court and Green Meadow Drive.
At their meeting on October 7th, the committee reviewed this ordinance, which approves a plat of re-subdivision for Addison Horizon at the northwest corner of Denise Court and Green Meadow Drive. The committee recommended approval, and first reading was given at the October 7th Village Board meeting. Second reading is requested.
This is second reading of an ordinance approving a plat of re-subdivision for Addison Horizon at the northwest corner of Denise Court and Green Meadow Drive.
Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Motion and second to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Hundley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Reyes.
Yes.
This ordinance is approved. Item 8E is first reading of an ordinance approving a plat of re-subdivision for 330 South Fairbanks Street.
At their meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this ordinance, which approves a plat of re-subdivision for 330 South Fairbanks Street. The committee recommended approval, and first reading is requested.
This is first reading of an ordinance approving a plat of re-subdivision for 330 South Fairbanks Street.
First reading.
First reading. 8F is the first reading of an ordinance amending certain provisions of the Village of Addison zoning ordinance with respect to dollar stores, thrift stores, and tobacco stores.
At their meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this ordinance, which amends certain provisions of the Village of Addison zoning ordinance with respect to dollar stores, thrift stores, and tobacco stores. The committee recommended approval, and first reading is requested.
This is first reading of an ordinance amending certain provisions of the Village of Addison zoning ordinance with respect to dollar stores, thrift stores, and tobacco stores.
First reading.
First reading. 8G is the first reading of an ordinance authorizing the disposal of surplus equipment owned by the Village of Addison.
At our meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this ordinance, which authorizes the disposal of surplus equipment owned by the Village of Addison. The committee recommended approval, and first reading is requested.
This is first reading of an ordinance authorizing the disposal of surplus equipment owned by the Village of Addison.
First reading.
First reading. Item 8H is consideration of a resolution approving an employment agreement between the Village of Addison and Joseph A. Moranowitz.
At our meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this resolution, which approves an employment agreement between the Village of Addison and Joseph A. Moranowitz. The committee recommended approval, and the attorney is asked to read the resolution.
This is consideration of a resolution approving an employment agreement between the Village of Addison and Joseph A. Moranowitz.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion and second to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Hundley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Reyes.
Yes.
The resolution is approved. 8I is consideration of a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Addison and the Illinois Department of Transportation regarding improvements along the intersections of Illinois Route 64 at Westwood Avenue, Lincoln Avenue, and Illinois Route 64 at Westmore Avenue.
At our meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this resolution, which approves an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Addison and the Illinois Department of Transportation regarding improvements along the intersections of Illinois Route 64 at Westwood Avenue, Lincoln Avenue, and Illinois Route 64 at Westmore Avenue. The committee recommended approval, and the attorney is asked to read the resolution.
This is consideration of a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Addison and the Illinois Department of Transportation regarding improvements along the intersections of Illinois Route 64 at Westwood Avenue, Lincoln Avenue, and Illinois Route 64 at Westmore Avenue.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Motion and second to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Hundley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Reyes.
Yes.
Resolution is approved. 8J is consideration of a resolution accepting a proposal from Dame Mechanical Industries Incorporated of Arlington Heights, Illinois for the grit collector rebuild at the North Wastewater Treatment Plant in the not-to-exceed amount of $18,023.
At our meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this resolution, which accepts a proposal from Dami Mechanical Industries, Inc. of Arlington Heights, Illinois, for the grit collector rebuild at the North Wastewater Treatment Plant in the not-to-exceed amount of $18,023. The committee recommended approval, and the attorney is asked to read the resolution.
This is consideration of a resolution accepting a proposal from Dami Mechanical Industries Incorporated of Arlington Heights, Illinois for the grit collector rebuild at the North Wastewater Treatment Plant in the not-to-exceed amount of $18,023.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Motion and second to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Huntley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Rios.
Yes.
Resolution is approved. 8K is consideration of a resolution approving a health care contract between the Village of Addison and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois for employee health care benefits.
At our meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this resolution, which approves a healthcare contract between the village and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois for employee health care benefits. The committee recommended approval, and the attorney is asked to read the resolution.
This is consideration of a resolution approving a health care contract between the Village of Addison and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois for employee health care benefits.
Motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion and second to adopt. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Huntley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Rios.
Yes.
Resolution is approved. 8L is consideration of a resolution approving a health care contract between the Village of Addison and Delta Dental for employee dental insurance benefits.
At our meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this resolution, which approves a healthcare contract between the village and Delta Dental for employee dental insurance benefits. The committee recommended approval, and the attorney is asked to read the resolution.
This is consideration of a resolution approving a health care contract between the Village of Addison and Delta Dental for employee dental insurance benefits.
Motion to adopt the resolution?
Second.
Motion is second to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Huntley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Rios.
Yes.
Resolution is approved. 8M is consideration of a resolution approving a health care contract between the Village of Addison and VSP for employee enhanced vision care benefits.
At our meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this resolution, which approves a healthcare contract between the village and VSP for employee enhanced vision care benefits. The committee recommended approval, and the attorney is asked to read the resolution.
This is consideration of a resolution approving a health care contract between the Village of Addison and VSP for employee enhanced vision care benefits.
Motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion is second to adopt. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Huntley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Rios.
Yes.
The resolution is approved. 8N is consideration of a resolution approving a health care contract between the Village of Addison and Mutual of Omaha for the employee life AD&D insurance benefits.
At our meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this resolution, which approves a healthcare contract between the village and Mutual of Omaha for employee life AD&D insurance benefits. The committee recommended approval, and the attorney is asked to read the resolution.
This is consideration of a resolution approving a health care contract between the Village of Addison and Mutual of Omaha for employee life AD&D insurance benefits.
Motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion and a second to adopt. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Huntley,
Yes.
Kluzny,
Yes.
Nasty, O'Brien,
Yes.
and Rios.
Yes.
Resolution is approved. 8O is consideration of a resolution approving 3 estimates from ABEEP LLC for the purchase of 2 TAIT TB 9400 800 megahertz transmitters, 1 TB 9400 VHF transmitter, 8 IP receivers, and the required accessories and support in a total not to exceed amount of $99,209.08, and a request to waive the formal bid process.
At our meeting earlier this evening, the committee reviewed this resolution, which approves 3 estimates from ABEEP LLC for the purchase of 2 Tate TB 9400 800 megahertz transmitters, 1 TB 9400 VHF transmitter, 8 IP receivers and record accessories, and support in the total not to exceed amount of $99,209.08, and a request to waive the formal bid process. The committee recommended approval, and the attorney is asked to read the resolution.
This is consideration of a resolution approving 3 estimates from ABEEP LLC for the purchase of 2 Tate TB 9400 800 megahertz transmitters, 1 TB 9400 VHF transmitter, 8 IP receivers, and required accessories and support in the total not to exceed amount of $99,209.08, and a request to waive the formal bid process.
Motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion and second to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Roll call.
Trustees Huntley,
Yes.
Klusny,
Yes.
Nasty,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
and Reyes.
Yes.
The resolution is approved. Item 9, Mayor's Report. I have no report this evening. 10, Officers' Report, Village Attorney.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Village Manager.
No report tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Village Clerk.
Yes, I do. Early voting continues to November 4th at the Addison Township offices on Addison Road. Weekdays from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. and on Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the Addison Township offices on Addison Road. Upcoming truck or treat events. We have 3 of them this year. October 24th, near the Village Green. It will be sponsored by District 4 Teachers Association. October 27th at Good Samaritan Church. And October 29th at Addison Trail High School. There are upcoming fall craft fair events. There are 2 of those. October 26th at Addison Trail High School. And on November 16th and 17th, it's at St. Philip the Apostles School. And then we have the 33rd Annual Mayor's Community Charity Ball on Saturday, November 16th at Medina Shrine Center. You can visit, it happens in Addison for tickets or silent auction information. Also, the Italian Heritage Open House will be conducted on October 27th from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. at the Addison Public Library. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 11, Commission and Board Reports. We have none this evening. 12, Executive Session. We do not need one. 13, Audience Participation regarding village business.
Well, I'm not in here.
If you would state your name and the address for
Kaiser,
the...
427 South Lincoln Street.
Thank you.
You all know why I'm here, for those who may be watching. My husband and I are in our 70s, and I have done a lot of research on wireless exposures, and we have requested that we not have a smart meter, a smart water meter, which is what the village would be concerned with. That has turned out to be a challenge, and I understand it is a real challenge, and I don't blame any of you in particular for being trying to be bullies or anything like that, but it's just a complicated situation. We still don't have water. We are doing the best we can wherever we can to reduce our wireless exposure. We're actively doing that now. So I do have, and for those who may not know, the video wasn't showing last time, but I have put 13 notebooks together with research on the effects of wireless exposure. The overwhelming result is that it's bad, and it's not just bad, it's really bad. And there are a lot of people who are probably getting hurt from it. We feel we've already felt the effects of it ourselves in our family, to the point of people who have died. And it's certainly not the only factor, I want to say that very quickly. But we've lost babies and a very sick son who we believe was probably not helped at all by a gas meter that was put on without my knowledge. He did die 2 months later, and it was not the only factor by any means at all. Anyway, I just want to say I'm back. If there's anything we can do to try to help this process along, we're going to try to cooperate as best we can, but we really don't want a smart meter. And we're very willing to read our meter and send you a picture if you need to of the dial so that you know that we're being honest. If we're late, we'll pay a fine. We'll pay more than normal just to do this. Whatever we can do to make it easier for you all. And again, I'll state for the record that we are aware that the FCC has been ordered 3 years ago by the Supreme Court to upgrade their standards from the early 90s, in which those standards only took the thermal effect of wireless exposure. How much does it heat the tissues? That is not at all the whole story, by any means at all. And even though the Supreme Court has ordered them to upgrade their standards, they have not done that in 3 years. So it's very difficult to be expecting you all to know how to set your standards when the FCC won't do it. But in the meantime, we have our own bodies to think of, and appreciate your cooperation, and thank you very much. Also, I do have more handouts if you want more copies of them. I did try to fix the page numbers. I'd be happy to give you more copies if you need more copies for other people, or if just citizens want to see it. jka8168@gmail.com. You can email me, and I'd be happy to mail you or drop one off. It's what the handout is. Well, I'll get it. Hang on. This is the table of contents for these notebooks here. They pretty much speak for themselves without having to read a lot of sciencey science. If you want the sciencey stuff, it's here. I'm happy to share it with anybody who would like to see it. But this was about 3 months' work for me. Here's a picture of the notebooks if you can't see them on the, but the video didn't even show, so I don't know if it's going to matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 14 is
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion to second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.